done before in the sitting position, but we're going to try it out. What we're going to try to do, I'm not sure if we did this before, is we're going to take the 4 different energies or postures that we learned, and we practiced these in the form of exercises. We're going to try to combine them and see how they work to maximize our equilibrium and balance. And we'll see how that goes. All right, we'll try to do it in the sitting position. It's easier to feel some of these in the standing position, but I think with a little bit of imagination, we can do it in the sitting position as well. We're also going to go through the 5 animal frolic and I'm going to spend a little bit more time describing more details about each of the animals and their associations with 5-element theory and in Chinese medicine. Okay, so let's get started. Let's just warm up a little bit. Roll the shoulders up and back. And forward. Get warmed up. So we're just opening and closing our hands. I'll count. Let's do 100. Okay, good. You should feel some fatigue in your hands. Let's clasp your fingers between each other and push out, stretch out. And we can take this to another level. By going up and reaching as far back as you can. So a lot of these exercises we do in the 5-animal frolic. You know, there's tiger, if you recall, the ending of tiger is done this way. So you can either do these warm-up exercises or Qigong. There's more value, of course, out of doing Qigong, I think, because it's more reflective, meditative, and there's there's a mental aspect to it. Okay, so let's just open and close a few times to get centered, bringing the hands down, coming up, scooping up energy from the earth overhead. Deep breath, exhale down, opening breath. One more. Come down nice and slow. See if you can feel the energy as you come up and down. Try to imagine collecting energy inside your body. All right. Starting with an open and close, we're going to rotate the hands, the palms in opposite directions. Notice this is very similar to the yin-yang symbol of opposites. Striking down and blocking with one hand, reaching out in pung form or pung energy, roundness with the other hand, and back to the other side. At the same time, we turn and we look as far as we can in the direction of the rotation. Okay. We're going to do a short set because we're doing the 5-animal frolic, and in many of the animals, bear, I'm thinking of at least bear and deer, bear and deer, as you extend, you look back. And so we're going to be, we really don't need to do all these exercises if we're going to do Qigong, but just for the sake of continuity, I want to do these warm-up exercises. Of course, these are all Qigong exercises as well. All right. We can then open and close, rotate our hands 180 degrees and rotate from one side to the other, like holding a ball, rotating the ball over 180 degrees and going to the other side around the waist. And then pushing to one side and the other side. So we're rotating the hands again to one side, pushing out with the backhand, twisting, pulling in as we twist the palm back to the other side, pushing to the side. Good. So you imagine you're retreating and pushing an opponent aside. You want to keep your hands, fingers pointing out, and your hands flat as if we're pushing against the side of a building. Yeah, elbow jutted straight back. Everything is on this horizontal plane. Remember, we did the hand movements in 3 different dimensions, 8 movements in 3 different directions. I think we did this in this class. If we didn't, we'll do it sometime. And that's the basis of the Ilic Chuan martial arts system. Okay, take a breath, deep breath, closing breath, and come down. Okay, and then let's move down to the legs, kick and punch, hands at the side, elbow straight back, fists at the waist, heart of the fist up, punch and twist out as we kick with the opposite foot. Try to maintain your posture upright when you do this. If you lean back as you do this, you're going to hurt your back. So with all of these exercises, if you think about it, you reflect on all the exercises we do and all the Qigong exercises, as well as Tai Chi, the crown is always raised. And you can draw a straight line between the crown down through your spine to your coccyx. And if you're standing directly to the midsection of the feet, that's lining our body up through our natural center of gravity, the most stable way we can maintain posture. As soon as you start leaning over one direction or the other, you're shifting your center of gravity away from that vertical alignment, and you're putting pressure on your demands on different muscles and tendons in your body to resist that that deflection, and also you're decreasing your equilibrium and your balance points. There's a word they use in Tai Chi called rooted, and to be rooted, is an analogy between being rooted like as a human being and rooted like a tree. It's basically connected to the ground, and trees generally grow straight. A lot of trees grow crooked and they lose branches and eventually fall over. But the trees that last the longest, these redwoods and their cousins and families, they grow straight and tall, deeply rooted within the ground. All right. So let's do go through the 5 animal frolic exercises, and we'll talk a little bit more about them. So the first one we're going to do is deer. All right. So each of the animals is associated with a certain season, a certain element. The 5 elements being water, wood, fire, earth, and metal, which is also the basis of the Xing Yi fighting system. And each of these animals is associated with a set of organs, internal organs, as they relate to 5 animal theory, relates to Chinese medicine. So we're going to take deer, and deer, the season for deer is winter, the element is water, and the organs associated with deer are kidney and bladder. So those are water-influenced organs, right? It's also thought that if you practice the deer form, that you'll burn fat around the waist. And when we do it, you'll feel this thing, this sense of twisting and turning around the waist. One of the aspects about deer is if you look at the personality of the animal, they're of course not predators, and so they have to depend on their fleet-footedness and sensitivity, sensing things around them to survive, right? And so they're always kind of looking around. And so I was just sitting here preparing for this class, and it turns out we have a deer. I'm going to show it to you. We have a deer here, and you can see how the deer's looking back. So when you see statues of deer, they always have, it's interesting, it probably comes from Greek mythology. The deer is always looking back, and it has one hoof raised, ready to leap if it needs to get away. And so that's the sense we're going to feel, the personality, the sense we're going to feel when we do these movements. And so deer starts out with bringing the hands up and down, just like in the commencement. We might do that a few times, just to kind of get centered and focused. And as we do this, let's think about sitting up straight, raising the crown, relaxing the shoulders, keeping the elbows pointed down. We don't want to do this and come up and have the shoulders up like this. It's a vulnerable position. It's also unrelaxed. This is more relaxed than this. Generally, if you feel more relaxed with all of these movements, you're doing them correctly. All right, there's no magic about it. You don't have to memorize how to move to be in a relaxed form. All you have to do is be aware of how you feel. Okay, so we come up like this and down. All right, and then we're going to push to the side gently, as if we're parting bushes, and then push out with one hand and push back with the other hand. We want to try to maintain our hands at a 90-degree or so angle to the wrist. Of course, some people are more flexible than I am with regard to this, so I'm not at 90 degrees, I'm probably about 85 degrees. And so both hands, one going out and one going back, and notice they're mirror images of each other, all right? And then we're going to look back at the back hand, just like that deer statue that I showed you. And we're going to imagine leaping forward and looking back in the other direction. Stretch and inhale as we stretch. And exhale and inhale. And try to feel that rotation around your waist. And that's where this theory or notion comes from, that if you do this, it's going to burn fat around the waist. course, there's a lot of people that would argue that any form of exercise will burn fat in any particular region of your body. I trust a system to be true that's survived over 2,000 years, which is the age of, this is how long this exercise has been around, 2,000 years. And look back. And not just turn the hands over, strike up, across the wrist, and swooping down and up and over. Inhaling, of course. And so this is your closing breath. And let's do this in the opposite direction. He commence, nice and slow, part the bushes. And the movements are flowing. They don't really stop. I kind of stop doing them. I stop between the motions so that you can collect your thoughts around it. But as we push back, we immediately extend. Now I'm going in the opposite hand direction. Doesn't matter whether you start left or right. Look back as far as you can, stretch, don't lean. Turn the hands over, strike up, down. Okay. All right. So the next animal, tiger. Well, the season for tiger is spring. Tiger is associated with the element wood, and the organ systems associated with tiger are liver and gallbladder. Doing tiger, and it'll be obvious when you do it, is supposed to eliminate back problems and cure sciatica. Sciatica? I guess it's sciatica. And I can attest to this because every once in a while I come down, not very often, but every once in a while I get a little bit of it, and I do tiger, and immediately it dissipates. So, so this is one that's really practical. Now, all of these movements with regard to the organs are supposed to exercise the organs, and so the movements are designed to squish blood in and out of those organs, which of course is a good thing because it increases the availability of oxygen and it massages the organs, and so this is all a good thing. So tiger starts out a little bit differently. Tiger pushes to the left and to the right, just like in that exercise we do at the beginning. We're going to push to one side, then the other, and then we're going to make two tiger claws. We're going to come right down the center, and we're going to push down and grab the prey and bring it up in an arc. So this is a rotation, a circular rotation, up to the chest, and then down one more time, and then all the way back. And this is where we're going to stretch back, and here we're stretching the spine. In exercising the liver and the gallbladder. Okay. And then we're going to come down, cross the hands, come up, over, and down. So all of these movements, all right, incorporate this closing breath. And if you like, you could start with an opening breath, one, and then up and down, and so forth, all right? Let's do one more tiger. Let's push to the other side, turning at the waist. To the other side again, make two tiger claws, come down, push in, down and up in a rotation, down and up and all the way back. And down, crossing the hands, closing breath. Okay, monkey. Monkey's is associated with the season of summer. Monkey is associated with an element of fire. As you might imagine, a monkey is always active, nervous, moving all the time, a lot of energy, which is an explosive. So these are all fire characteristics, which will help you, if you want, help you remember to make that association. The organs associated with monkey are the heart and the can't remember the other one. Anyway, mainly the heart. So, and it turns out that each animal is associated with two organs, but there's a primary and secondary organ. So deer, the main organ is kidney. Tiger, the main organ is liver. Monkey, the main organ is heart. And the other one is the small intestine, for some reason that I'm not aware of. But doing monkey is supposed to energize and exercise. It's a cardiovascular exercise, and it has a positive pulmonary effect on the pulmonary system, being a cardio exercise. So monkey starts out with coming up like this and down. And then, I don't know if you can see this, but as I come down, I'm going to rotate my hands counterclockwise, both hands counterclockwise, like you're turning a dial along on the top of a table, and then make two monkey paws, which look like this. The fingertips are together. And then you're going to bring the monkey paws up to your chest, the way monkeys sit up. Nice, Chad. All right, and then you're going to reach out and really stretch and grab some fruit off a tree and bring it back in. Push down, take a closing breath. All right, and one more time. Twist, come up. Stretch. And down. Okay, good. Now, bear is associated with late summer. The element for bear is earth. If you think about that, a bear is it's a heavy animal. It's really rooted into the ground when it walks. It can walk upright. It can walk on its all four legs, and it has a kind of pounding nature to it. Earth is the martial art movement associated with earth is a pounding. Remember, we did some qigong with the pounding. It was this kind of movement we did last time. And the organs associated with bear are the spleen and the stomach. And doing bear is supposed to help with the digestion. So bear starts off like this. All right. And then bear sits up, breathing in and out, and then down, breathing out. And now, in connection with this, with bear being associated with stimulating digestion, I need to point this out. This is, with regard to bear, it's the only animal where we do reverse breathing during part of the movements. All right, so all of these 5 element movements, you use just regular breathing in and out, expanding the stomach out as you breathe in, pulling the stomach in as you breathe out. If you can remember to do it, I have trouble remembering to do that, but it's a good thing to do. With bear, some of it is done that way, but then there's a part of it that uses reverse breathing, which is called Taoist breathing. And in this form of breathing, as I mentioned before, what you're going to do is, as you breathe in, all you have to do is remember to tighten your perineum and breathe in. And then as you breathe out, all you have to do is remember just to relax your perineum. All right. And this is where the notion of exercising the digestive system comes in, mainly from that movement, okay, from that breathing form of breathing during a part of the form. So bear sits up and down. That's regular breathing. And now breathe in and tighten your perineum. And now you want to keep it really tight and take 3 breaths without releasing the tension. And on the 3rd one, breathe in and now just relax your perineum and come down. Part the bushes and turn to the left, looking back, and to the right, but relaxing your hands, just letting your hands move from side to side. Relax your shoulders. Come forward, cross your hands, and come up and take a closing breath. All right, let's try that one more time. Bear, late summer, earth, spleen, and stomach. Taoist breathing through part of it, up and down. Okay. Bring the palms up to the chest, elbows tightly attached to your rib cage. Come down. Natural breathing. Breathe in, tighten the perineum, take 3 breaths. And come down. And finally, crane. Crane is also known as bird. You can use bird, you can use crane, you can use stork, any bird for that matter. The crane is associated with the season of summer. The element associated with crane is metal. Don't ask me why. And the organs, main organ system is the lung, but also the small intestine. And by doing crane, crane is supposed to relieve pain and stiffness associated with arthritis, and it's also supposed to potentiate the immune system. And so in the sitting form, the way we do crane is we come up and down, breathing in and out. It's like 4 out of the 5 other elements. The exception is tiger, right? We come up and down, breathing in and out. And we bring our arms out to the side and flat. And then taking your right or left leg, whichever you prefer, we kick out and come down. Bring the leg in. Now this is a toe kick, the leg straight, bring the arms up. Breathe in, arms down, leg up. And one more. Now bring the arms up overhead and down. Now, if you were doing this standing up, there were 3 kicks forward, to the side, and back, standing on one leg. Followed by standing on one leg, this movement that we did. So I've just adapted this to the sitting position, because kicking out is really the only motion that we can do in the sitting position. You can't really effectively kick to the side or back. Okay, so let's try it again. Up and down. This is commencement. Relax the shoulders, sit up straight. Bring the arms out to the side. Flat. Kick, come flat down. Flat up, bring the leg in. 1. Breathe in. 2. And 3. The arms are extended, bring them up overhead, turning the palms face up and down. Now, if you're going to do this and want to spend some time with it, you're going to do, you're going to do more than just 1, 2, or 3. You can do as many as you want. 8 is a nice number. So if you like these sorts of exercises, then do as many as you want. I like to do even numbers. Just psychologically, for me, they work better if I do even numbers rather than odd numbers. If I do odd things, then it seems like leave something out. So any questions about any of this? Okay, there's lots of stuff on the internet on the 5 animal frolic. I mean, probably more than any other Qigong. There are treatises and probably thousands of YouTube videos on 5 animal frolic done in different ways. And there are different interpretations too with regard to the associations that I mentioned. As you might imagine, this is 2,000 years old. And as these system was handed down, it changed in different parts of China, practiced by different people with different customs. Okay, so the next thing I'd like to do, let me just check the time. It's 12 o'clock. Gosh, I want to leave time for Tai Chi. And there's so much I like to cover. I like to do with you guys. And I was going to do a whole body movement exercise. I think I'm going to do it. Let's see if I can rush through it. Sometimes if I rush through things, it's not really a very good thing to do because these are a lot of very subtle concepts. But we as I mentioned at the beginning of the session, we looked at these different energies. There were 4 major energies that are also really what they are body mechanics. They call them energies. And really all they are just techniques or tools, if you will, on how to move in the most stable way possible, whether you're applying a force or resisting a force, okay? So the way we've learned to do this is not the right way. And so we have to retrain our bodies to do things properly to get the ultimate benefit out of it. So, so we talked about the energy or concept or tool, if you will, of silk reeling. So silk reeling is a feeling, excuse me, of connectivity between different parts of our body. And so silk reeling is a metaphor for that feeling that you have. And this is really difficult to describe. It gets into the area of kinestheology. Kinestheology, I think that's what it's called. And there's another word for it. I think I mentioned this a little bit before, and it's called proprioception. And it's also known as the sixth sense. And that's why it's a little bit hard to grasp mentally. It's more of a feeling. And there are diseases or syndromes associated with the loss of the ability to feel the connectivity between parts of our body. Another way to look at it is if you draw your hands apart, and we do a Qigong exercise where we draw the hands apart, remember, where hands rotate in different positions and they come out and in. So with regard to silk reeling, if I know that if I'm going to put my hand here and I'll put my hand here, even before I do it, I know where my hands are going to go. Well, well, what is that? That's a phenomenon associated with this proprioception, and I understand it has something to do with certain nerves in our tissues, in our muscles, that are designed to give us that sense of where the hands are going to be in relation to each other at a particular time and space. Okay, so people that are, and there's a spectrum of abilities along this within the system. So people that are really adept at it tend to be really good athletically. And so, if you look at football, there's football players that play professional basketball. And there are I know pitchers, golf pitchers that become professional baseball players, particularly pitchers, that are really good at this sense, and they can become, if they want, within a year or two, they can become professional golf players, which takes most people a lifetime to achieve. And so, like I say, so different degrees of adeptness at this. So one of the things that Tai Chi does is it teaches us, it endows us with the ability to carry out proprioception, and it increases our ability to do it well, particularly if we have a deficit with regard to this particular sense. All right. So there are lots of exercises, and silk reeling exercise is one of those exercises that will develop this sixth sense. Okay. And so we imagine that we're drawing silk between two movements, usually in opposite directions. It can be between the hands. It can be between the hands and the feet if we're standing. And it can be between the hands and the glute, the buttock, if we're sitting. And so this is one of the exercises we did. The other thing we explored was the concept of palm, which is basically roundness, keeping a round posture. And it turns out that arcs are more stronger than angles that are like this. So if you look at these arches that hold up, very heavy structures, even bridges or temples or what have you, they're usually round, right, arced. That's why they call them arches, rather than linear forms of braces. And so this notion of palm applied to Tai Chi, as well as balance, is more effective than being closed or too open. Okay, so there's something right in between that gives us the most the best element of what would you call it, of architecture between different parts of our body. And so then we looked at palm, we looked at silk reeling, and then there was this this rotation around the hips using the qua as a hinge, which is a little bit harder to imagine sitting than standing. If we stand, of course, in this position, we can use the hips to push into the ground and up and in and out to adjust to different forces coming in or to applying a force. If we were doing this in the sitting position, we would imagine pushing, as we push in one direction, we push down in the other direction, and we kind of close and open up the qua. Okay, so it's a little bit harder to see. And so using and then the last one, number 4, I believe, was the this quality or posture of using the ground path, right, of pushing into the ground or through the body into the chair to neutralize forces. So let's try to put all these together. This is the first time I've ever done this in the sitting position, and usually it's done with a partner. So we're going to have to use our imagination. So for this exercise, we're going to try to use all of these aspects, all of these energies or techniques of posture to imagine that we are trying to pull something to us, and also on the one hand, and then apply the same principles to resist somebody pulling something away from us. So you're going to imagine pulling something in, and also imagine resisting a force trying to pull against you, okay? So to do that, we're going to use pung, all right? So we're going to, right away, we're going to use this element of pung. If you can imagine that somebody that you had their arm wrapped around your arm, all right, and you were pulling in, if your arm was too far out or too far in, it would be very difficult to feel and control that force. So you need to have this roundness to tie in structure into your shoulder, into your chest, and eventually down to your glute into the ground. Okay, so you can imagine the chair sitting, the sitting context being the ground. All right. Now, if you want to do the standing up, that's fine. But now you have to feel this energy energy flowing through your arm, down through your waist, the hip, the leg, the knee, and into the ground. All right, you have to really feel that. In sitting, you're going to only go to the glute. And so here we go. We're going to pull. And as we pull in, we're going to sink that pulling feeling through the arm down into the glute, into the chair. All right. And we're going to feel the connection between the glute and the hand and the arm. We want to feel that connection. They're all tied together. We're going to sit up straight. Now, there's this tendency to tighten everything up. And I'm feeling it now in my back. You want to do this, but you want to relax. So take a few deep breaths. Breathe in and pull down into your glute. If you can, sitting totally up straight, but being relaxed. All right. So the pressure comes in through down to your glute. The rest of your body is totally relaxed. And just breathe. Imagine you're pulling into your glute, into the chair. So you feel the connection. All right. The proprioception of that exercise. You feel it during the exercise. You feel the connection. Or this is described in Tai Chi as silk, the feeling of reeling silk. You feel the roundness, which creates the structure you need to be able to do this. All right, you feel that roundness, pung. You feel the energy in your qua, in the hip joint, qua energy. And you feel the ground path. All right, now, if you're doing this, maintaining this posture, this is a very good exercise. And this is essentially what you do when you do posting in Tai Chi. There's an exercise called posting where people stand for hours like this. There are different, each of the different internal martial arts has a different form of posting. And if you remind me, I'll teach you how to do it in Tai Chi, Bagua, and Shin Yi. They're different. But it's an exercise that we use to develop proper posture, body mechanics, to learn how to relax, and to develop internal and external strength. And feel if you can. You want to do this being relaxed. After a while, you'll feel a tingling sensation throughout this entire structure. I'm feeling it in my hands, feeling it in my hips. You'll feel chi. It may take a little while, but with practice, it'll come. Okay, now, let's just relax for a while. I'm going to do a little bit of talking. Now, getting back to the image of, or the sense of somebody pulling on you. The tendency when somebody grabs you is to lean in the opposite direction, right? Someone grabs you, you say, no, you can't do that. I'm going to pull away. But what happens if that person lets go? Now your center of gravity is over. If someone lets go, you're going to go to the right. Now you can get this sense by getting back into that position. All right. And instead of just sitting up straight and relaxing through the core and sinking into the chair, change your perception of this if you can. And change and imagine that instead of resisting that force, you're going to pull to the right. And now let go of the force, and you'll feel yourself moving to the right. So now this is a little bit hard to imagine because the natural way is to be centered. But if you were doing standing up and you had a partner, it would be really easy for you to do. So instead of maintaining the system that I've described and all the principles of the system, you go back and revert back to the natural tendency to resist this way, and that person lets go, you're going to go over. Whereas if you do it this way and that person lets go, nothing happens. Okay, and this is the pure essence of Tai Chi, and this is why we practice using these techniques, because we can always be in perfect balance and equanimous when we establish these principles and take them into our it's hard to talk about these things in this way, but if you can incorporate these principles in a natural way, take them within, internalize them, if you will, then your balance, your natural balance, both internally and externally, will improve. Okay, and so will your proprioception abilities. Now let's go to the other way. Instead of somebody pulling on you, imagine, let's do the other side. All right. So we want to feel that silk reeling energy going down through the hands into the seat. We want in the glute, the right glute, doing the right hand now. We want the feeling of palm or structure, roundness, right, and shape, tying that strength of the arm into the rest of our body. We want to feel the connectivity, the silk reeling feeling between the hands, and we want to feel the connectivity to the ground. In other words, the ground path through the chair. We want to sit up straight, and we want to relax into that. And now, imagine, instead of somebody pulling on you, that you're pulling on them. You're pulling them into you. And you can play around with this. Imagine the force is increasing, and all those other forces will increase. At the same time, you're still perfectly balanced. You're perfectly relaxed. All you're doing is you're absorbing this energy from the arm and the hands through your body into that chair, and it's going down into the chair. Imagine the rootedness of it, all right? See if you can relax your arm. Imagine you're pulling somebody into you. Okay, so what we've done is we've just done a basic exercise in a solo way, and we're not using partners. If you use a partner, if you're fortunate enough to have a partner there or some other time, you go try this exercise, and you'll see it's really very powerful. And you'll be surprised at how strong you can pull in or resist a force at the same time being totally relaxed and centered. All right. So any questions about that? Any of that? So I bet you never thought when you're going to take some Tai Chi training that you ever get into any of this, but this is good stuff, because when we do the form, you're going to be automatically applying these principles to the form when you do the form. So you'll be getting more out of doing the form by practicing these exercises. And we'll do some posting. We'll do some of this, normally it's called standing meditation, but this will be done in the sitting form. And we'll do it for each of the 3 different martial arts. The styles are different. Okay, so in the remaining time, let's do some Tai Chi. Sun Style, sit up straight, relax the shoulders. Commencement. Bring the hands in to the waist. Push out. Hands back in and open and close. Single whip, push out, extend. Bring the right hand in, lining up under the lower left elbow, and switch up and down. Turn at the waist, both hands together. Switch. Press into the right glute as you do this. As you move to the right, press into the left glute. Pull to the right. Feel a connection between the hands. Bring the lower hand up. Pull over, open and close. Whole time using this roundness in the hands, pump energy, feeling the connection between the hands, and feeling the connection between the hands as we move from left to right and your glute. All right, so now we're going to set up for brush knee, pulling to the right, setting up on the right side, left fingers on right elbow, turn to the right as we sweep across, pushing into the right quad and the right glute, pulling the left hand into the waist, pushing straight out, playing the loop, lower hand up, upper hand down, in an oblong movement, like we're turning a wheel. It's a sense that you have, feeling the connection between those hands, like you're grabbing 2 parts of an arm and an elbow, and rotating that arm and the elbow over, turning it around, grabbing it, and pulling on somebody forward or pushing them back, or if the hand is turning over, breaking the joint. So the movement is like this. Let me make sure I have it right. Yes. Left hand up, right hand down, turning the lower hand up, upper hand down. This is a rotation, and as if you will, you see how the rotation works. It's an oblong, like we did this movement here where we did alternating, moving the hands in the horizontal position. It's very similar, only the hands are facing each other. And as you strike and deflect and bring one hand in and the other out, it's not just linear in and out. It's actually a slight oblique kind of movement, in and out movement, out and in as you bring it in. Make 2 fists, punch over, reach across, grab the wrist, pull in, punch, open the hands up, pull in, elbows down, protecting the face, calling block, come down and push, come in and open and close, and the reverse direction. All right. You leave the commencement out, we do single whip. Single whip is pretty much the same, looking to the left this time. Now we're going to come up, right hand. We're going to come up, left hand under right elbow, switch and do cloud hands left. Come back to the left, turn the lower hand up, This is a very smooth rotation up. All the movements are rotational. Two hands opposite each other, open and close. And of course, we're going to go down, turn to the left this time, setting up for brush knee, right fingers on left elbow. We're wound up here, back here. We're turned. We're ready to strike straight through the shoulder line as we reach across and block. Bringing the other hand that's blocking across. And as soon as it reaches the other side, the right side in this case, it comes back with the hands down. Don't drop the fingers or you lose your energy. All right. Upper hand down, left hand up. Rotate into playing the flute. Turn the lower hand up. Just meld right into that. As soon as you finish that movement, the hand comes up, rotating the palm up. The other hand comes palm down. Push out, deflect. The deflection, remember, is not just a linear movement. It's in and out. It's out and in. Imagine if somebody were to strike you, you would come out, around, and in, because it is a spiral force. And spiral force is a much more effective in deflecting something than a linear force, all right? Think of the force in a screw as opposed to trying to bang a nail into a wall. Okay, so 1, 2, let's go one more to get to the other side. Oh, this is the side I want to be on. Left hand down, right hand out. This is the strike to the neck. Could be to the eyes. You can use 2 fingers. You can use the whole hand. You can use a monkey fist if you like. The left hand is down. I like to connect my thumb to my waist. I like to be precise. I like to know where that hand is with respect to where this hand is all the time. And making that connection helps me establish control over all the movements, all right? Make 2 fists, bring the right fist over, parry, punch over the right fist with the left fist. The eye of the fist up, not like this or like this, but the eye of the fist up, all right? Open the hands up, bring them back, colon block, elbows down. This is a splitting force, in and out and push. Open and close. Turn to the left, one more, brush knee left, just like the first 2, just like the last one. And now man walking straight, and that is closed. We're going to turn the hands, palms facing each other, maintaining their position. Pull the right palm up like you're pulling something out of a holster and push it forward. Lock the left fingers to the right, inside of the right wrist. Unfold your palms, turn them up, bring them down and in again, a circular rotation up to the chin. Strike out, monkey offering fruit. Don't lose that connection. The palms are facing up, the left fingers are still attached where they were when you started the series of movements to the right wrist. You're going to turn all the way to the right. Let's see if you can do this in a very controlled fashion to the right. So you're 45 degree, 90-degree turn, striking out to the right. And now bring that right hand. Can you see it? Bring the right palm around like the teacup exercise, like you're holding a cup of tea and you don't want to spill it. Swivel it around. Almost, well, it's 180 degrees. So it's now like you're holding a tray next to your head, like you're serving something. Left finger still attached to the wrist, inside of the wrist. And now turn forward, both palms facing out, and push out. Now here we're striking out with the right hand. All right, this fleshy part of the right hand. At the same time, we're guiding that force or using the other hand to strike the heart. So you can strike the heart and the face at the same time this way. And these are very, very powerful forces. You have to be very careful if you're going to be practicing or doing this. You can stop somebody's heart by hitting them really hard like this. Okay. And not just open your hands, just gently open your hands, let them go and open and close. All right. Now we're going to do another single whip. And following this, we're going to make a fist with the right hand. And we're going to open the left palm and we're going to come forward and we're going to block or parry as we bring the right fist around in an arc and down in through, right through the shoulder line at the waist as we block across and punch under. So the first punch, the first time we did a parry punch was grabbing a wrist, bringing it over and punching over into the head or face. This one here is different. It's blocking. It's pretty much the same block. You can do it the same way. You can either use your palm to push it, as we're doing now, or you could grab a wrist and pull it over. But this time, we're punching to the short ribs, under it. All right. And of course, we're doing it really slowly, like so. All right. If you do it in this direction, it looks like this. I like this move. Okay, now we're going to get back into a brush knee motif. And this is a very natural movement. Open the hands up, and there you are, ready to brush knee again. Left finger's on right elbow. And we're going to turn forward because we're doing this in the sitting position. If we were doing it in the standing position, it would be to the left. And we're going to sweep across and block and push out. All right. Now we're going to set up on the other side. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to, this is a little different. Instead of setting up like this, we're going to reach forward and pull in and set up. All right. So it's 1, 2. So the setup is a little different. And this is called Repulse the Monkey. And so if we do that brush knee, and then we open this palm up and pull it in and pull this palm back and pull in, we're setting up for another brush knee, one more brush knee, which would be like this. And then there's a last one like this. So if we put all this together, punch under elbow, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've just adapted this to the sitting position. I'm going to do this standing. Maybe you can get a sense out of it. Now, this is the first time I've ever taught this sitting. When you're sitting, you can only do things really because you can't turn your body when you're sitting. You can only do them in the forward position. But if you were doing the standing up, it would look something like this. All right. And so 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're facing forward again. The way we're doing this sitting down. So these are new moves for you guys. Punch under elbow. Doing it forward 1, 2, and 3. All right. So it's 1, 2, and 3. Doing a standing up, it would be brush knee to the left after punch under elbow. Repulse the monkey, which is basically a brush knee back and the opposite way. And then finally, one more brush knee in the forward position. Okay, we're going to practice this a lot more. We're almost through with the set. We're going to be doing the same series of 6 moves in the mirror image of the first set of man walking, straightening out of his clothes. We're going to learn that in the next few weeks. And then I think that at the end of that, that's 31 moves. I've never really counted them. And so that's basically the program as I know it. All right. I'm sure I've run over 6 minutes.